be sparking and rushing, man, like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just the brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is gonna be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with the Boruto manga and you do not care about me talking about spoilers, or in this case speculative theories that are going to be based on stuff that actually takes place in the manga. So with that being said, let's jump right into the actual discussion. So the hot topic right now in the fandom is who's inside that pod that Amado has. And like I said in my last chapter review, I really feel like this is a situation where Masashi Kishimoto's trying to drum up some of that hype that he did when way back in the day, back in 2010, you had the whole mystery of who's inside the final coffin, where people were wondering who was inside of it. It ended up being Mamoru Uchiha, but there are a lot of fan theories back in the day, and I feel like we're in that same situation here where Kishimoto's trying to reclaim some of that magic. So by this point, I've already started discussing some of the fan theories, like say Shisui Uchiha and Minato were inside the actual coffin. You guys should have already seen the Minato video by now. However, I want to talk to you guys about my thoughts on who I think is inside of the actual coffin. So as you guys know, a lot of times I'll do these speculation videos and there'll be theories that you guys will send me on Patreon or in the DMs, and I'll look at it, and if I think it's a good enough topic for a video, I'll turn it into a video and I'll say whether or not I think it's likely. However, this is going to be one of my theories, and I really believe that Delta is inside of that actual pod. And I'm going to say right now, I really feel like there's strong evidence that it's actually Delta, and in order to actually see the brilliance behind it being Delta, I want you guys to actually look at the meaning and the symbolism behind her name. So with Delta in particular, when you look at what it stands for in the Greek alphabet, Delta stands for 4. So right now, if we look at Delta, there are a few things I think we need to actually look at. So the first thing is that we're told that all the car members are cyborgs. So there's a difference between an android, like say Vision from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is an android. Whereas you have people like Kawaki, who is a cyborg. Delta was called a cyborg in particular. However, people have wondered, well, if she's actually a cyborg, why does she have so many different bodies? So this is why I think this is important to take note of. So Delta has 3 separate bodies, but they can't actually move without actually having that drone. And the reason why that's important is myself and a few other people have said that that drone really seems like that's actually Delta's consciousness slash soul, much in the same way that you have Sasori, where Sasori's whole body was turned to a puppet, but part of his body was still actually living and breathing his heart, and he was able to take his heart and transplant the heart from puppet to puppet. Well, I think that drone acts much in the same way. Just as that was Sasori's heart, I think that that drone is Delta's heart, and I think that that has her soul in it, quote unquote. Well, what you end up seeing is that in Boruto chapter 34, when Delta's drone comes back into the car hideout, you see how that drone lands in the middle and how you have the lines that are going to each of those different pods. One pod's already open, that's the body that Naruto destroyed. The second pod is the one that she actually gets out of, and what ended up happening with the second body, as we all know, in the last episode, Delta ends up destroying so much of Boro's hideout. She goes back, and in future events in the manga, Amado uses a verbal kill switch in order to shut her body down. However, that means she still had one body left. So I definitely think that that's what happened. I think that Amado just took Delta's final body, put it into another storage container, and took it with him to Konoha. Now, going back to the number 4, I have 2 reasons for why I believe that Delta has so many bodies. So keeping in line with Delta being the equivalent of 4 in the Greek alphabet, you could look at that actual drone that she has and say that that drone is 1, and then you have the 3 bodies, which is how you get to 4. However, what I'm thinking, because Boruto is a series about science, and because we've actually seen cloning being done in the past, and Kashin Koji himself being a clone, I'm really thinking we're in a situation where Delta, the original body, was somebody that ended up passing away, and Amado used her DNA in order to create a clone, much in the same way that he took Jiraiya's DNA and created the clone that was Kashin Koji. And I think that he just had separate bodies. That's not crazy to think, because Orochimaru has several versions of Mitsuki inside of his actual actual hideout. So it's not crazy to think that Amado was able to make multiple clones and turn those clones into cyborgs, twist up their body, put all that ninja tech and science and nanomachines inside of them, and essentially that drone is that one thing that's going to be able to activate on one body at a time, because that drone is essentially going to be the heart for the actual body. I definitely think that that's what you're seeing. And when you look at Delta, despite the way that the anime portrayed her, when you look at the manga version of the fight, Delta in the manga did a lot better in the manga version than she did in the actual anime. But the fact is that Delta is a pretty powerful fighter, and if Amado, somebody who's already been able to take normal people, augment their bodies, and make them broken enough that Jigen's looking at him saying, that girl Ada, get her out of here. That boy Damon, get him out of here. Code's too powerful. You need to put limiters onto him. Code agreed to it because he was an Otsutsuki worshiper. But the fact is that Amado's shown the capability to be able to make those enhancements to make these people more powerful than they were originally. And I think that what he's doing with Delta's body, I feel like he's making upgrades to it in order to essentially say, this is where I know Code's power level is. This is where it should be with the Karma Seal. Let me make this drone somewhat relative to it, if not more powerful than it. That way Konoha has a opportunity at a fighting chance, because as Amado said in the actual manga, he said that right now it is really hard, almost impossible, to actually calculate how much power the 7th Hokage, Naruto, has actually lost now that he's actually lost the Nine Tails. And so this is one of those things where obviously that was a plot point built in there to where Naruto has a sliding scale in terms of how powerful he is, because he can be as powerful as the plot actually dictates him to be, because you can say that we can't actually properly calculate how strong his base is, and then he's got Sage Mode on top of that, and so that gives you opportunity where Naruto can realistically beef up. He just won't be as strong as he was when he was using that QB Chakra Mode, but that gives you an opportunity there to where if you don't want to rely on Naruto too much, you can actually have this cyborg actually be powerful enough to actually make that next move right there. And so I'm definitely thinking that this is what Amado's actually doing. I know some people have said, well, you know, the hair's a little wavier, and the only reason why I don't really use the hair as my reasoning for saying that this is Delta is the way that Ikimoto draws. He draws in a more realism type of a way, and so if you have somebody laying down and that person has straight hair or curly hair, it's going to come off in the manner that it is in that actual silhouette right there. So I'm really thinking that, like I said, more than likely this is going to be Delta. That's just my thoughts on it though. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Do you guys agree with me that essentially because Delta is a cyborg, the reason why she has so many bodies is that Amado cloned her and just had multiple bodies after the fact? I'm thinking that's it. Part of me still thinks that Delta might actually be Amado's daughter, but because this is a clone, it's not technically his daughter, because a clone is not the same person as a person that they're cloned after. And so that kind of would make sense. This was his child that died 12 years ago, whatever age she was when she died. Amado ended up making a clone and making several bodies. It would explain why out of all the car members, Delta is the only one who has multiple bodies. That's just my thoughts on it though. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.